Hello and welcome to this chess tactics video featuring 10 chess tactics that you can solve. So let's jump right in here. It is white's turn to move. What would you do in this position to get ahead and win the game? All right, pause the video if you need to, if you need more time to solve the problem. But if not, we will turn on the evaluation and the lines here. All right, so it looks like the best move is rook to e1. So rook to e1 is a pin on this queen against black's king. So the queen cannot move. It is trapped. Well, it can move, but it cannot move off of this e file that the rook is pinning it to. So it looks like the computer recommends the best move is to just go ahead and capture this rook here, but then white recaptures with check. So now the king is stuck in the middle and cannot castle and has lost a queen for a rook. And so white shouldn't have any problem going ahead and winning in this position. All right. So let's move on to a second tactics problem. Just remember, to improve your chess, one of the fastest ways to do that is to solve tactics, try and do a little bit of tactics study and solve chess tactics problems regularly, every day if you can, for at least 5 or 10 minutes, if not, half an hour or more if you have the time. And that will improve your chess pretty quickly. All right, let's see here. White, once again, it's white's turn to move. And what should white do in this position? All right, and pause the video if you need time to think about it. But let's turn on the evaluation now and see. So of course white is winning, and the winning move here is once again a pin, but instead of on a file, it is on a diagonal this time. So the queen will move to a4. That's the best move, pinning this rook to the king. Now the pawn here on a7 can move to a6 and protect this rook. But whenever you're pinning a piece, if you can add more pressure by attacking the pinned piece with another piece, that can usually make all the difference. So c4 is played here, and now the pawn will be able to capture. So the best move in this position, it looks like, I don't know, the computer wants king to f8 or king to d7. Even if the king tried to move up here, it's too late. The pawn just captures. And then, white would be ahead here. All right. So now let's move on to another problem. And in this third example, we have white to move here. What should white do in this position? So if we look at it, it looks like black is ahead by one pawn in this position. So what is the best move here for white? All right, pause the video. If not, we will move on here with the answer. So white is slightly ahead here, and it looks like knight captures on e5 is the best move here. Okay, now the computer recommends knight to d7 as the best response, just attacking that knight, but white would still be ahead. Now we see here that the queen cannot capture, because then we just have rook to e1, and then the rook will be able to capture this queen, or the queen can just go ahead and capture, but the queen would be in trouble. So that is why that knight was able to just capture the pawn there on e5. Okay, I hope you found that little tactical problem, and let's move on to another example. So tactic problem number 4 here. Okay, so white's turn to move. What does white do to win this game? All right, pause if you need to. If not, let's look at the answer here. Okay, so white is winning, and the winning move is a back rank mating combination with a queen sacrifice, rook captures, and rook captures. So I hope you found that little pattern there, the back rank mate pattern. Hopefully you did, and let's move on to another problem. So problem number 5. Okay, so here once again it is, well, let me make sure here. I believe, yes, okay, it is white's turn to move. So white's turn to move. What would you do here with white to move? All right, pause the video if you need more time. If not, let's look at the answer. So white is winning, and hopefully you were able to build upon that last problem and notice these rooks and the queen all lined up here with the help of this bishop. So queen to f8, sacrifice the queen. The rook is forced to capture, but then we have another rook capture. Now the queen is forced to capture, but the final rook is able to capture with mate because of this bishop here backing up the rook on this f8 square. All right, on to the next problem. Problem number 6. Okay, so in this position, it is black's turn to move. How does black win in this position? All right, once again, pause if you have to, and here is the answer. Okay, black is winning, and it's a mate in 3, beginning with the bishop capturing with check here. And what this does is drive the king back into this corner because the rooks are covering any escape out here. So the king will be forced to move to h1, and then we have check by the rook, forcing a capture, and another back rank mate. Okay, moving on to problem 7. Let's see here. All right, white's turn to move in this position. So we see that white is ahead, the equivalent of 1 pawn, but his king is wide open here, and the queen could swoop in with a check. The queen could capture either one of these knights. So white must act immediately to finish this game off. And what is the best way to do that? All right, pause the video if you have to. If not, let's take a look at what white can do in this position. All right, so white is winning, and the best way forward is one of 2 options which turn out the same. Either knight can jump here to f6 with check, forking the king and the queen. Knight f6 with the fork, and the pawn can capture, but then the other knight swoops in, forking here. And maybe the king moves, and then after capture, king and rook will win the endgame against this lone king. All right, moving on to chess tactics problem number 8. All right, so here we have white to move. How does white gain the upper hand in this position? So take a look at this. The material, white is ahead by the equivalent of 3 pawns because he has the extra knight here. And If we look at the position, the black king is kind of cramped here. This rook is doing nothing. The bishop's not doing much. The king is kind of smothered by his own pieces. So what does white do? Pause the video if you have to. If not, let's look at the answer here. So white is winning, and the best move would be bishop captures on f7 with check. Knight captures on e5 is possible, but not as good, as the bishop capture is more forcing. It forces this king to come out and recapture. That's his only move. And then we have another knight fork of the king and the queen here. So the computer shows king to e8 as the best move. But then we have knight captures the queen here. And now white is easily winning in this position. All right, I hope you found that. We'll move on to the last two problems here. Okay, problem number 9. Okay, in this position, let's see, it is white's turn to move here. So what does white do to finish off this game? It looks like the material may be even. Let's see, 3 pawns to 3, a knight versus a knight versus a bishop. So material is even, but white has the move, and how can he finish black off in this position? Or at least gain the winning advantage. All right, pause if you have to. If not, let's take a look. So white is definitely winning, and the best move is a queen sacrifice here. So queen captures on b7, forcing the king to recapture, the only move, and then a interesting move here, a discovered attack on the king after the knight moves out of this line of the rook, but the knight moves to c4 where the queen is under attack. So the computer shows the best move as c8, but then knight takes a3, captures the queen, and now white would be winning in this position, having this extra rook. And white should have no problem winning from here. All right, let's take a look at the final chess tactics problem here. Number 10. Okay. In this position, it is white's turn to move. What does white do in this position? What is his best move to win the game here? All right, take a look at that. You can pause the video if you need to. If not, let's take a look. So white is definitely winning in this position, and he wins with knight to c5. A double discovered check here. So the knight was on this line of the bishop. So if we go back and look at that, the bishop is lined up on the king, and the knight moves out of the way. But when the knight moves out, he moves to c5, delivering a check. But because the bishop is also delivering a check, the only thing that a king can do when he is attacked with a double check is to move. So if there's a regular check, the king can do one of 3 things: capture the attacker, block the attacker, or run. And if that cannot be done, it will be a checkmate. But in this position, it is a double check. So the only thing possible then is for the king to run, and the only place he can go is here to b8. And then the game is finished off with a mate by the knight on a6, because the bishop covers these light squares and the knight delivers check here. All right, I hope you were able to solve that problem and the other problems as well. And just remember, studying tactics regularly can greatly improve your game, help you win a lot more games. You'll start to see tactical patterns, checkmate patterns, and the more you go over these tactics, the easier it will be to start recognizing these tactics and tactical patterns and checkmates. All right, well, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Feel free to leave comments or suggestions. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.